Hey, fellow film fans, Englentine here with Dalton the Authenticator.
Hello, folks.
And we are going to catch up on our January movies today. We're going to do 2023 month by month or 2 months at a time. However, we have to, or however we can, because I, like a lazy bum, did a few January reviews and then stopped. And I want to catch up. I want to get my thoughts out because some of these movies I watched, and by God, there better be a reason.
I think we both forgot we have a movie channel, to be fair.
It happens occasionally, right?
Yeah.
Right out the gate on January 4th, a documentary was released, and it sounded okay. You give me a title called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Shit,
Mm.
and I'm going to want to know, okay, what is this all about? And so I put this thing on. I made it probably about a little bit over halfway before I'm like, this guy is just so freaking pretentious. It's basically you want to keep your blood pressure down, that kind of stuff, and people are just moving too fast and going for it. But the thing is
it the same guy who wrote the self-help books by that name? Because there's a
probably
self-help
so.
book series called Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck or something like that.
I didn't know that there was self-help books. I just put this on, and it just turned out to be really dull. Now, normally my rule is if you don't finish a movie, it's an automatic F minus. But I watched so much of it before I decided, okay, I got to go. That I decided, okay, I'm going to give this a fair and honest review. And here's something. If I tell you a film is an F and I start talking about how bad it is, you're going to be like, really? I got to see this. But if I tell you a film is a C minus, I am talking, this is the most flatline, boring thing and that's where I give this one a C minus.
It sucked my life and my time out of me.
Yeah.
Involuntarily.
I've got F bombs that I would recommend to you more than I would this one.
Yeah, because a movie bad enough to be an F usually implies someone was at least trying.
Yeah, exactly. Now there is a rule for these videos that I guess I better get out there. I did do some January reviews. I will not be returning to those. The other films, the ones that were released on the 6th, were Megan, then The Old Way, then The Pale Blue Eye was released to Netflix. I've reviewed all of them, so please check those out on our channel.
Yeah, Megan was good. You don't need us to tell you Megan was good, kind of thing.
It was fun. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as everybody else did. A Man Called Otto I reviewed here as well. A movie that I was always about to review is a film called Plane. Now, this is with Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler has kind of changed his career. So he's like doing B-movie action films that come out in January. He's like the new Liam Neeson. You know how Liam Neeson would always have an action film?
The 1001 take and riffs, basically.
Yeah, well, in this one, he's transporting a villain, a villain. He's transporting a criminal from, I believe it was Thailand, and he's going to bring him to America. On the way, though, the plane doesn't crash, but it has to go down. And so he lands it on a small island. Okay. And then Gerard Butler and the guy who played Luke Cage, I don't know his name. Thing is they did fine. It's a perfect B movie. It's something that the action's filmed well. Gerard Butler does well. He's a pretty good actor. The guy that plays Luke Cage is good. Everything about this movie is absolutely A-okay. You know, this is it's like a student that doesn't want to be noticed, so it just does just enough. You know, I don't want to go up to the board. I don't. Yeah, it is good. It is fun, but there's nothing. There's no next level here. Nothing to excel in.
It's an evening in sort of movie. You don't have anything else to do, so you pop it on and enjoy yourself for a couple hours.
It's one of those, but the next one up is a Netflix film called Dog Gone. And by George, guess what that movie's about? It's about a dog who's gone. he goes missing. It is so aptly titled.
Like subgenre of dog movies recently has been interesting. There was A Dog's Purpose. There was something about like dog reincarnation or something. I don't know. Like
yeah, they're all good. I'm serious. There has not been, okay, I can't do the absolute. There have been very few bad dog films. This one's one of the weakest. It stars Rob Lowe. His son is very attached to the dog, and of course, Rob Lowe realizes he realizes at a certain point, look, we gotta the dog's dead, dude. And the son's like, no, I'll go find him, Dad. And he kind of walks America through the heartland, searching for this dog. It's there's something about these films. There's it's kind of like what we would call an after school special where, yeah, it's very manipulative. It'll hit the right heartstrings. It's
wholesome. It's wholesome almost to the point of being like teeth rotting.
Yeah.
Like when I was young, there was a movie called Milo and Otis, and I loved that movie to death when I was a kid. I would watch it all the frickin' time. And Homeward Bound is kind of in a similar vein, where it's like, yes, there's a wholesome part of it that I still have a soft spot for, but God, is it just an excuse for cute animals for 190 minutes?
Yeah, well, that's kind of this. This has very little dog in it, by the way. It's mainly about the father and the son and their relationship. I'm a Rob Lowe fan. I've liked him since The Outsiders. He doesn't always do the best projects, but he's never bad in them, I always thought. So I gave this one. Oh, first of all, let me read off. What did we talk about? We talked about The Plane and The Art of. I gave that one Art of Not Giving a Crap. I gave a C-. And then the next one we talked about was Plane, which I gave a C+ to. Doggone, I gave a C+ to. This is my highest grade I go before recommending it. So I liked it, but not enough to put my reputation on the line for it.
I am amused, but now go away sort of movie.
Okay. But otherwise, it's on Netflix right now as of this recording. The next January film I want to talk about, I don't think you've seen. It's on Amazon Prime. It's a horror film. No, okay, hold on. It's a horror film.
Fair quote.
And when it came out, man, there was a whole bunch of Blair Witch comparisons.
And
it's called Skinamarink. And it's about these two kids who are left at home alone at night, and they find themselves in another dimension.
As you do, I guess. Okay.
Now, here's the thing. If you watch the movie, you will never know that. If you read the description, you'll know that. Okay, here's the direction.
Oh, it was one of those you have to have inside knowledge to know what the frick's going on.
You need to look at this. This is the direction. It never focused on anything. It was like, okay, these two kids are screaming. Why are you showing me the couch arm? If these two kids are talking, why are you showing me a leg of a table? What they never did was focus on the subject of the film. Some people may love that and go, oh, that's art house chic. It's awesome. No,
it's
poor
trying
direction.
To be found footage, but for real, and yeah.
It's bad direction. Now, the only reason I could even think that they did this was so they could show the kids off to the side and not have to have the kids act. You know, if you're focused on the linoleum, you could always have somebody voice in whatever's supposed to be said. And by the way, most of what is said in this piece of shit is whispers. It is absolutely one of, if not the worst film I've seen this year. Absolutely F freaking minus. I lasted 10 minutes more than my wife did. She lasted 3. That was it, man. I'm like, this is crap. This is horrible crap. So what I did for this
I can
movie,
imagine.
what I did was I skimmed it. I'm like, do they ever show anything other than the corner of the room? I'm pointing to a green screen, but trust me, I'm pointing at the corner of my room. You can actually see the line going up. So, but that it would be like the corner, the door. They would never focus on anything. It was absolute god awful bull crap.
That's so amateur hour. Like there are long running series on YouTube that do this better. Like for example, I think it's called Marble Hornets. If anyone remembers Marble Hornets, they did a like Slender Man-esque like horror anthology with several videos, and it was done better than this. Like it's not hard to do. Now, granted, I probably won't ever even bother watching this simply by virtue of the fact that I tend not even to like found footage when it's good found footage.
Yeah.
So this would be like nails on a chalkboard
Oh no,
for
this
my
isn't
brain.
found footage. This isn't found footage. This is video. But yeah, it's horrible film.
You mean they're not even going for the found footage aesthetic?
They compared in the advertisement to the Blair Witch, but it wasn't like 1-to-1 comparison. It's like,
okay, so it's not even trying to be
groundbreaking like Blair Witch and that kind of stuff. However, I recommend a film to you. I don't know how you feel about comedy horror, but one was released earlier this year in January 19th. I stopped reading off the date. The other one was in January 13th. January 19th, released to Shudder, and it's still there. It is a comedy horror me and Gail watched and just had a blast with. It's called Sorry About the Demon.
That sounds so far up my alley, it should be pressing charges.
Okay, so this movie, this guy, he breaks up with his girlfriend. It's kind of like, if you ever seen Happy Gilmore, the first 10 minutes of Happy Gilmore, where the guy is trying to do stuff, but it's not working out. And the girl's like, you're going nowhere, Happy. I'm breaking up with you until you get your life together. That kind of thing. So this guy, to get his life together, because he's also kicked out of his apartment, starts searching for a place to live. And he finds this house. It's really, really cheap. And he goes to it. It's this big house. He's like, are you serious? That's the rent on this thing? Okay, I've got to take it.
But demon. So, yeah.
Well, what it is the people who own the house need a demon sacrifice, or sacrifice to a demon.
Oh.
So they're renting this cheap to a guy who, by all means, has nobody. So
that when he disappears, nobody cares.
Yeah. Right. So he goes in and he notices weird things, obviously, and that there's a demon and everything. And when his friends come by, he's trying to hide it and so forth. And there are actual horror elements as well. It really is a slapstick horror film. Both Gail and I had a blast with this thing. Ultimately, of course, the demon realizes that he's not the perfect sacrifice. The girlfriend is. So they go after her.
Catharsis.
Yeah, and of course he's got to be the hero, right? It's just entertaining. I'm not going to tell you that this is going to change your life. I'm just going to tell you that for about an hour and 40 minutes, you're going to have a really good time with it.
I really love horror comedies, so I might have to give this one a try, because like I have a massive soft spot for horror comedies. I absolutely loved Renfield, even though it was kind of half a movie it promised and half it wasn't. So. Sorry about the demon. Really I will have to add that to the list.
We're going to get to that. You're jumping ahead on that one. We're going to talk about that one in a little bit, or at least in another video. For now, we're going to Netflix, and we're going to look at a science fiction film that they call it a Netflix original, but really what it is they bought it. To me, a Netflix original would be something that they actually paid to have made. But this is
like Wednesday. Like Castlevania, like Mindhunter, etc.
This is a Japanese film called Jung-E, and it's about this woman warrior who is kind of I'm trying to remember it now because it was in January. I haven't reviewed it. I hadn't seen it since. But this is a woman warrior who is having to deal with the fact that it seems like that she's going to be put out to pasture and everything. And action and drama ensues, and you find out that she's spoiler alert, she's actually a robot. She's a clone of the person she thinks she is, of sorts. Yeah, it's a really good action film. It's got some good drama, but if you've ever watched an Asian drama, they're more about melodrama than they are drama. So it's kind of whoa is me, that kind of thing.
the mugging for the camera.
But what they do very well is the action. So I do recommend it as an action film. Let's see. The next one up is a horror film that came out on January 27th, and it's called Fear. This once again, it seems like I can only assume it's because these movies would be the ones that were made during the pandemic, but we get a lot of or at least this is the second, I should say, or third. We're going to go to this one house and we're going to film there, and that's going to be the whole setting for the film. In this case, you got a movie called Fear. And in the movie Fear, it's a bunch of friends who go to a beach house. They're having a good time. And they start asking, what's your greatest fear? What's your greatest fear? And they tell everybody. And then there's like a demon that's messing around with them or something. And it ends up putting their greatest fears against them. It got a little bit of a push, but not much. My wife actually liked this. I did not.
I remember seeing it advertised. It never grabbed me in the marketing.
It really didn't make a big splash either. It just, there was not much to it. It was very much, though, exactly what you think. If you said you were afraid of spiders, or if one guy did, then the scene would be about spiders. You know, and that was the whole basis of it. The problem is it would go on a story, and then it would move to the other story instead of cutting and trying to interweave all these stories together.
Oh, okay.
So it almost
couldn't decide
like
whether it wanted to be an anthology or not.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me. It just spent too much time in one before it went to the other, but ultimately it felt very episodic to me, and that kind of, like, maybe it would have been better as, like, say, a 5 or 6 episode TV show where they could expand each character as they're showing the fear, but unfortunately that didn't go. There was another horror film. There's actually 2 more horror films I'm looking at right here. And
well, I mean, it is January. What's January without horror films?
Right. The next one is weird. It's one of those weird ones. I forget her name. She's kind of hot right now because she was in that movie X and Pearl. Have you seen those 2 movies?
I have heard of Pearl and I've heard of X, but I've never seen either of them.
You are now given homework, sir. You need to see these films. They are freaking awesome. Well, anyway, the woman who plays the main character in Pearl was in Infinity Pool, as well as the Skarsgård guy that played it. I'm telling.
Oh, Bill Skarsgård.
Bill. Okay.
Skarsgård.
Yeah. What it is Bill Skarsgård and his girlfriend go and they go on vacation to this small South American country, and something happens where they end up committing a crime. The incident was they hit somebody with their car. It's going to be murder. You're sentenced to death. If you give us enough money, we'll clone you, and then your clone will be sentenced to death. And the thing is all the people around Bill Skarsgård understand and know. They've already been through this. So their idea of a vacation now is to go to this country and do all sorts of crimes because they know all they got to do is shell out some money and the clone will take the punishment.
Right.
Yeah, and
so it's like that one resort in that one episode of Rick and Morty where, like, you're immortal, so no consequences.
Oh man, yeah, I would hate to think that that's what's going on with this Infinity Pool. They were like, hey, you know that Rick and Morty would make a pretty good horror film, but it does. It's a weird one. I'm not going to put my reputation on it though. I gave it a C+.
Why
That's as
not
high
just
as I'm going
clone
on this.
the guy that you ran over instead? Like
Yeah,
that would
and
be
let him
my thought
live.
process. Like, don't clone me, clone the guy.
Well, yeah. Oh, by the way, I gave Sorry About a Demon B plus, and I gave Jung E a B, Fear a D, and Infinity Pool a C plus. The other horror film, it's called The Price We Pay. It's about these three bank robbers who are they're of course getting away. They got away with it at this point, but something happens to the car, so they got to pull over, and they pull into this onto this farm. And so while they're on the farm, and the farm's got and the farm's got a little hotel attached to it. They are staying in one of the rooms, and one of them sees these people come in and is like, "Wait, they're carrying something. I think we can make a bigger score." Well, what they were carrying was a dead body, because
Oh no.
because they don't farm cow meat. This is kind of like
Aha.
Motel Hell Part 2, where these guys stumbled into a cannibal ring, and basically it's them trying to get out. Now, the problem with this movie is that there are no good guys. These people have proven themselves to be violent bank robbers, not just lovable quick change like Bill Murray bank robber. It's actual violent bank robbers. So there's nobody to root for. So you're really watching this film to
So
see
the question is, do you want the cannibals to eat the bank robbers, or do you want the bank robbers to get free of the cannibals?
And ultimately, you are watching this film just to watch people die. That's it. And it's entertaining. I had fun watching these people die, but ultimately, I can't recommend it.
I mean, sometimes that's what you need, though. Like, sometimes it's just nice to be like, you know what? Screw everything.
Screw everything. I want to watch people die. And that leads me to the last of the January films. Now, you tell me that I'm going to be able to watch a movie with Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy. I'm in. Those two make me laugh a lot. Eddie Murphy, I had said this a long time ago. Eddie Murphy's one of the greatest actors in Hollywood. Watch any film where he's playing every freaking character, and he'll show flat out. Jonah Hill is one of the best improvisers in the Judd Apatow lot. And he's a good actor, obviously, because he's twice nominated. So it's obviously he's pretty good. But they did a movie called You People. You People is about a white guy who proposes to his black girlfriend. Now he's got to meet the parents. Eddie Murphy's the dad, and they act like it's the 1930s, and interracial relationships aren't everywhere.
Our FUBAR, yeah.
It's so bad. It's so racist to everybody. It's not like, oh, it's racist to white people. No, it's to everyone.
So it's like the Sam Jackson character in Die Hard. Is it 2 or 3 that he was the cop in? Yeah.
He's like, you don't get the sense that Eddie Murphy is overtly racist. Like, he's not walking around, all white people must die or anything. But the attitudes are there, and it's just so bad. And it's unfunny. That's the big thing. It's so freaking unfunny.
How exactly do you screw up Jonah Hill and Eddie Murphy in a movie?
Yeah. Well, you give them dialogue that makes it sound like it's freaking Breakfast at Tiffany's, and you got Mickey Rooney standing next to you in Japanese face. It is just not funny. I'm sorry. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner was a great film for its time, but guess who? Bernie Mac came off like a freaking racist. Now you've got Eddie Murphy doing the same. Nobody cares about interracial relationships anymore. And by that, I mean so many people, nobody cares. Obviously, there's some idiot racists that wrote this script.
Racism is stupid, and you will always have idiots who believe it, but by and large, it has no power in the world.
I wanted to like this film. It goes, and it's not even like it could have been a decent The script was unoriginal. All the same tropes are there. And the weird thing is because it was filmed during the pandemic, they had to CGI the kisses.
Well, that's sure not going to make your movie indescribably racist looking or anything.
Yeah, look, there was enough to save this from being an F film or even a D film, but the problem is I put it at that C minus. It deserves to just fall down the memory hole. It doesn't deserve to be remembered as a bad movie. It
I wonder,
deserves to go away.
I
Bye-bye.
wonder if it's written that way because of social justice or if it's just
It
written
could
that
be.
way because stupid.
Look, the new generation brought back racism, and they're happy about it. It seems. I don't know. But you people, once again, C minus, not worth your time. It wasn't worth my time. There you go.